Good morning. It's just after 11 o'clock, and you have tuned in to a special show where I'm going to be talking to Dustin Bowen. He's with Lucchese, Nashville. I'm going to kick this on the FM. I'm going to get him introduced, and we're going to learn everything that he has going on. I'm really excited about it. And if y'all know me, you know there's one thing that I love. It's shoes, boots, and I do love Nashville. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart, just after 11 o'clock. My name is Gardy, and I have a special guest. His name is Dustin Bowen. He's with Lucchese out in Nashville. I'm going to get him introduced, and we're going to have some fun today. Dustin, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Gardy, how's it going, brother? I'm doing great.
Dude, so where are you coming from today? Where are you at?
Man, I am at home. I live here in Nashville, as you mentioned. I live more on the west side of Nashville, so I'm about 5 minutes from downtown, but just taking it easy today. It's kind of a rainy day here in Nashville, so just hanging out, looking over some sketches and stuff. Got a buddy in town, maybe go to the recording studio with him later, just kind of relaxing before we get back to it for the rest of the week.
Cool. Hey, so are you from Nashville? Where are you originally from?
Man, I was actually born in Nashville. It's a rarity nowadays to run into somebody that lives here that's actually from here. But yeah, I was born in Nashville. I grew up about an hour west in a little town called Camden, Tennessee. But I've been back in Nashville now for, I guess it's 8 years now. It's home for me, man. I grew up playing music. And obviously I'm in the boot game now, so it just kind of makes sense. Boots and music kind of go together here in Nashville, you know?
Yeah. What kind of music did you play, and what do you play? Do you sing as well?
I'm a drummer. I would sing backup harmonies every now and then, but I'm a drummer. I can pick a little bit on guitar, but it's definitely nothing to brag about. But I played, I would say, more on the rock and roll side of things growing up. Played obviously a good amount of country, and I actually toured for a couple of years as a hired gun and playing for just any band that would bring me on, just because I love every type of music. I love everything, man. I just love being in the pocket with everybody and kind of creating something together. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I moved to Nashville whenever I was 21, and I played in a Christian rock band that was from Columbus, Ohio. We moved down to Nashville, and so I toured for a couple of years out there, but it was really a bit discouraging whenever you'd go to a random restaurant and you see that, like, the cover band or, like, the random person is, like, better than you. Like, everybody's good. Like, people from all over the world moved to Nashville, and they're great musicians.
It's an amazing thing, man. I mean, around here you can throw a rock and hit a musician, and it's so funny, some of these guys and gals that are playing on these albums, they're session players, they just play in the studio. And some of these famous licks that you hear in these famous songs, you have no clue that it's that person that just walked by you, and so they're famous in the song, but you would never know them, if you saw them face to face. And the people down on Broadway, and shoot, there's sometimes better players than the people that are playing at these arena shows. So it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. It's a lot of fun. And people like me, I just play for fun. I was going to do it for a career for a little while, but life took me a whole nother direction. And so but I play for fun. I have to, man. It keeps me sane.
Mm-hmm. So at what point did you make that switch? Musician, Nashville, and then you said, hey, I'm going to get into, you kind of like, the fashion industry. I'm getting into boots and Lucchese.
Yeah. Growing up, I always loved, a good outfit and stuff. Like growing up, my dad always had boots and stuff growing up. And my dad had like a nice watch or a nice ring, or, those nice accent pieces. So I was always introduced to it, but all my life I was like, I'm going to be a drummer in a band. That's what I'm doing. There was no doubt about it. But then I went to college and I got a part-time job actually working at a boot store. And in the back, there was this cell room area that a gentleman by the name of Rick Barlow, Rick, if you hear this, shouts out to Rick. He kind of took me under his wing and started teaching me everything about boots, and I fell in love with it. But at that time, my main focus was still on music. So whenever I was out on the road, I was actually still buying and selling pairs of boots on the side and just kind of collecting them, cleaning them up, refurbishing them, and selling them. And I just fell in love with it, man. And I kind of found out that the music side of things for me was more of a hobby, and I didn't really want to turn it into a career. But boots kind of one, they provided me the financial security that I needed. And also, it was a whole new creative outlet that I had never experienced before. It gave me I fell in love with it just as much as I was in love with music. And I had never loved anything else like I love music before. And so it was something cool that I could tap into and to learn more about. And I'm still learning every single day.
Hmm.
So yeah, right around, I would say about a year after college is whenever I just walked into the Lucchese store in Nashville. I loved the Lucchese boots. I had a pair. I knew that they were amazing. But I just walked in there just to check it out one day, and something clicked. And the GM at the time asked me if he could help me with anything, and I said, "Yeah, with a job." And they called me in the following day, interviewed me, and hired me on the spot. And now I've been with Lucchese for a little over 5 years now.
That's cool. That's a cool story. So I went to the Lucchese store in Houston,
Hmm.
and I showed them pictures. I was like, I just showed them a picture. I didn't even mention your name or anything like that. I was like, look at these boots. I don't know what size I wear. These are legit, right? And they're like, oh, that's Dustin. They like knew exactly who you were. He's out of Nashville. He does those. They were kind of like almost like defeated in a way, but they were just like, yeah, that's Dustin. He does those. He does a lot of really cool stuff.
Man,
And
and it's so much fun getting to talk to people at our other stores, whenever I'm out there for business, and seeing how they do things with their customs and just seeing how styles different in different cities. But yeah, that zip style, the slimmer zip Western style, for me, it was a style that Luke Casey had a long time ago, but the sole was different on it, different toes, different heels, stuff like that. And I ended up taking it and kind of turning it into what it is now. And I just liked it for my own personal taste. So I built a pair for myself, and then word kind of got around, and I started posting about them, and they just kind of blew up into this thing. And I'm super, super grateful for it. It's a lot of fun. And it's spread further than Nashville
mhm.
now, which I never would have thought. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful for it. And I get to meet new people every single day by doing it too. I think that's the funnest part.
Yeah, because you work with there's country musicians, there's I'm sure like all kinds of different people, but I think that whenever you're a musician and you play rock and roll or country music or there's a mix and the lines blur, you want that piece that stands out. And I feel like Nashville, and I'm gonna ask you if you agree, is like the perfect storm. It's the perfect place for that fashion.
Absolutely, man. And whenever people think of Nashville, I think the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is country music. But there's a reason why it has the nickname Music City, USA. I mean, it's not just country music. I mean, there's rock and roll artists, you've got, hip hop artists. I mean, everything is just blowing up right now. And the way that I think about Luke Casey is there's not a right or wrong way to wear it. There's not a specific person that we market towards. These boots are for everybody, and there's a little bit of something for everybody. We like to say that Luke Casey has many faces, and I like to think that about Nashville. Nashville has many different faces as well, other than just country music. And so I just love to kind of branch out and show people that we're capable of doing more than just your the typical cowboy boot that everybody's used to. You don't have to be a cowboy to wear cowboy boots. I know I'm not.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say I have to give a shout out to Matty Mullins because I follow him on Instagram, and we play like anything that he puts out. We play it on KHEA radio because I'm a really big fan of
Nice.
his. And I saw that he posted a picture of some boots, and
Yeah,
I saw those. I was like, these are legit. Like, so he had tagged some people, and he had tagged you. So
yeah.
that's how I ended up finding your Instagram. How was that working with Matty? Is he like, what's his style, and like, who else have you worked with as well?
Man, working with Maddie was such a pleasure. And, I talk to him here and there. I grew up actually with my dad, like doing competition barbecue and stuff. And Maddie's really big into barbecuing and stuff. So we hit it off there. But Maddie just, he came across my Instagram page. He hit me up. We got to talking. And, I've actually listened to, his band Memphis Mayfire for a long time. I've listened to his solo stuff for a long time. So I was really, really excited to get him in because his style for me, more the rock and roll side of things, was I really wanted to build something that could really just complement his style. It's not like we needed to create something, create a style for him. His style, I just wanted to be an accessory to that. So whenever he came in, he actually brought in our our buddy Mike D'Amelia, who's an amazing photographer, videographer as well. And we shot me and Maddie actually getting him fit for boots and choosing the leathers. And we actually ended up, laser etching his logo on the inside of it. So that whole experience too, that we were actually able to document the time that he was in there. It's definitely a memorable moment for anybody that comes in there, but the fact that we were able to document it and we had so much fun with that, it was a great time, man. And yeah, I ended up making a good friend out of all of it as well. So yeah, it's awesome. That's so cool, man. I had no clue that that's how you ended up finding my page and stuff too. It's through Maddie. That's so cool.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of his music, and he just put out like a single like a couple months ago, or maybe even not that long ago. But man, it's awesome. Yeah, he jams. But yeah, shout out to Matty Mullins and shout out to Matty's Fashion and his boot guy Dustin, hanging out with us today. Right? Who are some other people? Because I know you work with some other artists as well. Who are some other people that you've had the chance to work with?
Man, yeah, shoot, man, it's crazy how many people I've been able to work with now. People that I've looked up to. Listening to their music forever. A lot of artists and you name them, man. I worked with Stapleton. I've worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger one time. I sold Arnold his 50th pair, which was amazing. that man is a huge Lucchese fan. So that was a lot of fun working with him. Of course, Maddie actually introduced me to a lot of guys more in the rock scene. Worked with some hip hop artists here and there. Manuel Riaz, if you ever heard of Manuel, Yellow Wolf. Just recently, I did a pair with Chris Shiflett, the lead guitar player for the Foo Fighters, which Foo Fighters are probably top 3, one of my favorite bands. So that was pretty amazing. And recently, we had Mr. Post Malone stop by. So stay tuned on that. Got some pretty cool stuff rolling out with Post pretty soon. Y'all heard it here first.
Man, can you give me a hint? Like what kind of? I mean, Post Malone has his own style for sure, and he puts out some good music as well. But like, what kind of material? Like anything at all?
Yeah. So obviously, Post. He's actually grew up in Texas. Grew up in Dallas and everything. So he's all about the Lucchese boots. That man is a huge Lucchese fan, big collector. We're doing a lot of inlay, a lot of embroidery, a lot of intricate detail on this boot. It's gonna be black. I'll tell you that the whole boot is black. And he's into the snip toe, more of the pointed toe. And I definitely am. That's my favorite toe as well. So you'll just have to keep an eye out for it, man. It'll probably be. We'll finish up with it. I believe it's probably going to take us till the end of the year. But it was a lot of fun getting to work with Posty because the guy was just so down to earth. Probably one of the most generous, nicest people that you'll ever meet. And it was also really cool just to be able to connect on another level with him, other than just his music. Because a lot of these artists, that's all that they talk about is their work. So it was really cool to be able to connect with him on another level, boots, something that both of us are interested in, and not have to just talk about music the entire time. So that was a lot of fun. I was on cloud 9 for that. But anytime that, I meet anybody with Nashville growing the way that it is, it's not just artists. We've got people that are traveling here from all over the world. And so I get to meet new people every day, see new faces every day, and get to create new pieces of art with these people, and then eventually develop a relationship with them. And we just go from there. So very, very fortunate, very blessed. It's super, super fun for sure.
So somebody walks into Lucchese, they want a custom pair of boots. How long does it generally take to get that created?
Yeah, so whenever they come in, a lot of people, they'll kind of have an idea of what they're wanting, but then again, there's a few people that'll come in, they don't know at all. So walk in, we'll take you around our main showroom, kind of show you some stock silhouettes just to go ahead and get the juices flowing, get some ideas rolling. And then from there, once we've kind of decided on the silhouette style, we'll go upstairs, which is where my design loft is. And that's where we have all of your, your leather swatches, all the stitch patterns. And that's also where I'll take your measurements. That's the first step. We sit you down, take your shoes off, and then we'll take your foot mappings. I'll trace around your feet. I'll take all of your perfect measurements, even get you to try on a few pairs of Lucchese boots, just so you can see certain toe styles on you and heel styles on you and stuff. And then once we get the sizing down for you, then we move over to the cosmetic side of things, where we'll start choosing your leathers, your colors, the finishes. If you want something special embroidered on it, a logo or your initials, or we do laser etching now, which is really cool because it's kind of like you're branding the boot, kind of hot iron branding, which is a lot of fun. And then we just start throwing it together, and really, I kind of put it in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm if you want me to design it, I'd be more than happy to. Just give me a few ideas, and then I'll run with it and I'll create something for you. But I think the best part about it is the fact that you are the designer whenever you come in. You know your style, you know what you want it for, and I'm there to just kind of guide you and direct you. But I've been able to gain some clients over the years that have just they're big boot collectors, and they just say, hey, what leathers do you have in today? Because I've already got all their measurements there in the book, in the archive. They just call me, ask me what leathers I got. I'll send them over some pictures, and they'll say, okay, make me something. And
Mm.
that's a lot of fun too, whenever they
Yeah.
just let me kind of run with it. But then from there, I'll send out the order to our bootmakers down in El Paso, Texas, who are third and fourth generation Lucchese bootmakers. I mean, their grandparents, their parents worked for Lucchese. It's in their blood. And they hand make the boots from start to finish, all the way down to your leather heels and soles. They'll laser etch it, they'll embroider it, and then send it back to me, where we'll do a final fitting for you. And then we'll also, I'll make sure that everything obviously was done correctly on it. And I'll send it out. And usually that process, depending on the complexity of the design, it can take anywhere from 3.5 to 4 months. But sometimes, if we're doing like hand tooling and hand painting and stuff, it'll be, anywhere from 5 to 6 months, even a year, just depends on what you want. But if you think about it, handmade boots from the ground up,
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 month to maybe 5 month wait, that's nothing compared to how long these boots will last you, which typically they'll last you the rest of your life.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day at a car dealership where we do some work. Shout out to Ron Carter in League City. But
Yeah.
he saw my boots and he was like, dude, what kind of boots are those? And so I tell him, he's like, well, these are Lucchese. And then he was like, I got a pair of Lucchese's from high school. He's like, they're still good. They're still good. They'll last literally forever.
Nice. Were you wearing your black pair?
I was. I'm
Nice,
I'm wearing them
man.
now.
Heck yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's so cool too. Whenever you kind of join this Lucchese family, other people that wear Lucchese's, if they can, you can just kind of tell. You can, once you know Lucchese, you know the style, you know how they fit and everything. You can see a Lucchese from a mile away. You can spot one, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of, it's pretty cool. If you walk by somebody else wearing a pair of Lucchese's, you kind of look at each other and kind of give a tip of the hat to each other, because you're all part of the same family. It's a really, really cool thing. And I feel like, once somebody has gotten their very first pair of Lucchese's, you can sit there and just chop it up with them all day long about, different toe styles, leathers, colors,
Mm-hmm.
fit. And I think that's the funnest part about it really too, is that it just never ends. It's continuous. You can never stop creating with it, and never stop collecting either.
Yeah. So where are they made at? I think they're made in the USA, right? But where?
Correct. Yeah, El Paso, Texas. So we started in San Antonio in 1883. Sam Lucchese was originally from Sicily. Kind of came to the U.S. pursuing that American dream, and his father was actually a shoemaker in Sicily. But Sam set up shop in San Antonio, which is actually where the
Hmm.
U.S. Cavalry School was. And he started building boots for the U.S. Cavalry, and that's actually how word spread of how well made and comfortable Sam's boots were. And that's whenever he was able to officially open Lucchese Bootmaker in 1883. He made all the boots were made in San Antonio until about 1987, and then we moved everything to El Paso. We just needed to expand, get bigger because the brand was growing. But still to this day, all the boots are 100% handmade. We haven't changed anything about Sam's process. He preached that quality materials is where it all starts, and attention to detail. Because if you don't have quality materials, they're not going to stand up to the test of time. And that's what this brand is about, is leaving a legacy. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to have something that's going to last. So yeah, all of our stuff is handmade in El Paso, Texas. We have a small line that's made in Mexico, but pretty much anything, or I will say everything that I do, any custom boot that I build you will be handmade in El Paso, Texas.
Do you get to ever have an opportunity to go over there and check it out? Have you been yet?
Yeah, I've been to El Paso, and I'm telling you, man, it is it brings a whole new respect and patience to the boot making process, to the whole game. Once you see how proud our bootmakers are to be building these pieces of art, it really kind of makes you kind of humbles you a little bit, makes you take a step back and realize how hard they're working to create something that is going to last you the rest of your life. That's going to be able to pass it down throughout, your entire family. And then also, we have like our leather room there, which is, I mean, it's gated off. You've got to sign in and out in order to get out of this thing. I mean, it's very
Really?
protected, our leather room, and going in there and just seeing these leathers stacked from, the ceiling to the floor in this huge warehouse is amazing. And you can just never stop going through it. But yeah, it's actually a pretty small production facility too, man. It's not as big as people would think, for as long as the brand's been around. So it's really neat to go in there and just kind of chop it up with our boot makers and talk to them. And they're interested in doing a lot more than just boots too, though, man. They're leather workers in general. I have some leather wrapped guitars at my shop here in Nashville that our boot makers wrap for us. We have these leather benches at the store that our boot makers made. And last time I was down there, they asked if we still had the guitars. I said, yeah, we do. And he said, well, send more to me, man. I want to do more stuff like that. So they just love creating any kind of art with leather, really.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool experience. Anybody that ever gets the chance to do that, we do factory tours as well. So if you get the chance to do that, man, we got to set that up.
I know my father-in-law, he has a Lucchese vest, and like he walks in the room and you notice him and you can smell that leather. It's good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, man, we get it all the time. People walk into the shop, and of course, the first thing they do is inhale real deep to get that smell of leather. And
Yeah.
we had so many people compliment on the smell. We eventually started making a leather scented candle. So now you can have your home smelling exactly like our shop. I can't smell it anymore. I'm immune to it now, but yeah, it's a really cool thing. I'll walk out of there smelling like leather.
Is there a favorite material that you have, whether that, like snakeskin, alligator? There's all kind. I mean, there's some ridiculous stuff. I say ridiculous, but it's awesome. I saw like moose, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can get.
Yeah, man. It's really, really tough for me to say, because like people ask me all the time, like, what's your favorite pair of boots that you have? And it's like choosing your favorite child. It's hard to do so. I'm a huge fan whenever it comes to leathers, it's really cool stuff that we can do with like taking different finishes. I mean, you can take like an ostrich leather and do 20 different finishes on it, and you've got 20 different boots out of this one leather, So whenever it comes down to it, man, I really do like to just let the leather speak for the boot. I don't think you have to have too many crazy things on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to choose, I think as far as smooth leathers go, the moose leather that we've done is pretty amazing. It was part of an American leather series that we did. We also did it with bison and elk as well. So the moose leather is pretty amazing. It's got some cool texture to it. As far as exotic leathers go, that's a toughie. Man, I don't even know if I can choose. I love a good Teju lizard because it's easy to dress up and dress down. It's got a really cool texture to it. Also some pretty wild stuff like a Pirarucu fish, or we have a suede hippo leather that's pretty amazing. It's got some really cool texture, and the suede is probably the most durable suede that you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, man, but I don't know. It's tough. Ask me tomorrow, and my answers could actually change on that too.
Yeah. Hey, so here's a comment. This is from Jennifer, and she said, hey, Harvey got my Lucchese boots. We had Hurricane Harvey down here. I think it was 2017, and it was, a lot of people lost everything. So she said her boots were taken. So I need to find them and see if they can be restored. She dried them and got them packed away. Do you think that's something that Lucchese could restore, like those boots, if they were flooded?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, we would need to get our hands on them. We'll need to, see what type of damage has been done to them. But we have an amazing restoration program. I mean, I've sent boots down there that I thought were completely done for, and our boot makers get their hands on them and just bring them back to life. We'll put new heels and soles on them. We'll, clean up any dents, dings, scuffs. We'll refinish the boots for you if you need that. And then at that point too, we can even, if you had a wild hair and you wanted to change like the heel and sole color on it, you wanted to put a different finish on it, we can even take that to a new step as well and totally recustomize your pre-existing boots. So absolutely, we would definitely love to do that. And honestly, that's what got me into boots more than anything, was taking an old pair of boots and bringing them back to life, so they can live out the rest of their life. But yeah, we can definitely do that. Just send them to me here in Nashville, and I'll get you taken care of.
Cool. Hey, what's the best way for somebody to follow you, to get in contact with you, or check out some pictures of some of the work that you've done?
Yeah, so my Instagram is definitely where I post pretty much everything that I do, even if I'm having events or anything in the shop here in Nashville to be on that. So you can go follow my Instagram at Dust Bowen. That's DUSTBOWEN. I don't do I don't have Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. So everything's pretty much on Instagram. If you want to get in contact with me, just DM me there, or you can actually shoot me an email, which is dbowen at lucchese-inc.com. Or just give me a shout at the shop. I'm pretty much there all the time. Would love to chat with anybody. You know, I can talk your ear off about boots. So
Yeah, that's you know what, and there's a lot of Lucchese fans and boot fans who would love to have the opportunity to chat with you and just kind of throw some ideas back and forth. I'm sure.
heck
What
yeah.
is there a pair of boots that that you've wanted to make and it was almost like too crazy and you're trying to find like who's the right person that would be able to wear these?
Oh yes, I have this one pair, which I have tons of sketches and tons of ideas, but I have this one pair that I've been wanting to do forever, and it's going to sound pretty wild. But I don't know if you just saw the ones that I just recently did. It was a hand painted ladies Python boot.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, it had like flowers hand painted on it. Well, there's this other Python leather it's it's going to sound crazy. It's a hot pink. It's a hot pink python leather, but it has these amazing tulips that are actually painted on it. I've had some people bite at it, but nobody has actually, bit the whole bullet and said, let's do this. So I would really like to do another zip style to where I did that entire boot out of that leather. Ladies, it is a little bit more of a lady style boot I'm kind of wanting to build, but I think there's some rockers out there, some guys that could definitely do these, man. So Gardy, if you get the wild hair, man, you want some pink python, let me know. I'll hook it up for you.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, speaking of something wild, you had mentioned working with Yellow Wolf earlier. He had like his own, almost like a own line or something. What was going on with that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I've worked with Wolf for shoot, man, almost the entire time that I've been with Lucchese. He's a big cowboy boot guy, but a even bigger Lucchese fan. And I've listened to his music growing up. And he came into the shop one day, and we were just talking about it. And we kind of built this relationship. And then he came out with his latest album, Ghetto Cowboy, and he called me up and was like, "Hey, man, I kind of have these different looks that I want to create for the album. I kind of want to create 5 different looks and put on these different looks at my show and stuff, kind of change them in and out." And I knew his size. We got him sized up and everything. So we just kind of designed these boots over FaceTime and on the phone with each other. And we did 5 different pairs. We did one pair that was a hair-on cheetah print. It was like a cow hair with a cheetah print all over it, the entire boot. And then we did like a blue suede one. We did a pink and black suede, red and black suede. Just some wild colors. And then from there, these were just his personal pairs that I made for
Yeah.
him. And then from there, he was like, "Hey, I want to just let my fans know who made these boots, where they can get a pair if they want a pair." And then after we posted it and told the fan base about that, I started getting calls. And so I can't even remember how many pairs we ended up doing, but we had fans call in wanting those pairs. So pretty soon, the next Yellow Wolf tour, you'll start seeing all of his fans wearing those boots as well, which was so much fun, man, because I respect his art. I respect his, he has so much ambition, and the guy is a hard worker. And for him to come to me and want me to create something with him was truly an honor. So
Mm-hmm.
it was exciting. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah, so you mentioned, next tour right now, there's not a lot of travel or touring going on for musicians, but you were supposed to come to Houston, before all of this kind of shut down. Is that something that you're going to be able to reschedule and make happen again?
We're definitely planning on it. Man, we were waiting down to the very last minute before we had to cancel that, because I was so excited to get out there, and we had appointments booked for every single day. There were people traveling to Houston just to come and do some custom boots with me, and that was so much fun. I was really excited about that. So yeah, it was a bummer not really doing any traveling at all right now. But as soon as everything opens back up, we're definitely going to get out to Houston and hopefully try and make that a thing that I can do at all of our Lucchese stores. Kind of do like a design week at all of our Lucchese stores. So if you're in any of those areas, please keep an ear out for me. I would love love to work with everybody in those cities for sure.
Well, keep me in mind. I'm going to be looking and checking regularly to make sure that when that happens, I don't miss it, because I'm going to go get myself an appointment and come and say what's up, shake your hand in person.
Absolutely, man. We got to get you in there and do the full process. It's a lot of fun. And what I think the coolest part about meeting everybody is that we know for a fact with Lucchese, you're going to be getting a product that's going to last you a lifetime. We know that for a fact. We know that our product is very, very good. But what I think is even more amazing is that you come in, we'll get to work with each other, build a relationship with each other, and then from there you get a memory that's going to last you a lifetime, along with a pair of boots as well. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. So I'd love to be able to get you in there and give you the full experience, man.
Cool. Hey, is there anything else you'd like to share while you're on today?
Really, man, I just hope that everybody's making it through this, the best that they can. Everybody's taking some time to reach out to their family and their friends. That's something that I was definitely able to do during this time. I took a break from Instagram and everything for a little while, and just took some time to myself to regroup, reach out to family members and friends, make sure everybody's doing well. So I hope everybody's doing the same. And we're using this as a time right now to regroup, do a reset. And for those of the creatives out there, really dig deep and come back from this bigger and better than ever. So I just hope that everybody's doing well. And yeah, please get in contact with me. I'd love to meet each and every single one of you.
Thank you for hanging out today, Dustin. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, Gardy. Thanks for having me, man. You take care.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.